college that I worked at the time. And I asked him, I said, you always look so comfortable up in front of groups. I said, what is your secret? And he said, don't be afraid of the butterflies. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, I get nervous every time I stand up in front of somebody. And I thought, no way, because I had seen him do speeches to crowds of 300 plus. And he always seemed so in command. But he said, I'm always nervous. He said, but the secret is that you use those nerves to your benefit. You use those nerves to make you strong, and you use those nerves to help you sort of push the envelope. So I just want to remind you all to keep in your head, keep behind all of your thoughts that you are very talented, or you wouldn't be here. You're a leader, or you wouldn't have gone beyond your comfort zone to be in a speech tournament. You're a smart individual. You will do well, and let that really empower you. So please, don't forget the butterflies. Let them work for you. Good luck to you all.
And I'd like to welcome another one of our deans, Dean Carmen Guerrero.
I know you all have to get to your tournament and deliver those wonderful speeches that you're going to be delivering today. First of all, I want to tell you that what a wonderful program this tournament is. It's fairly new to Oxnard College in terms of the history of our college. How many years have we been doing this?
This is our 17th tournament, so this is the 8th year.
8th year. And we've been here almost 40, I think, almost 40. So it's actually a really good tradition. And I'm glad you're participating in it. One of the things I just wanted to tell you, and I'm going to be aging myself, but that's okay, I do it often. 43 years ago, I was a student like you at Moore Park College. And I remember a lot of my the teachers. I remember things they said to me, but I don't necessarily remember them. But the one I do remember, and I think about him often, is Mr. Roland Glover. And he was my speech teacher. And at the time, I was 18, so you can do the math. I was 18, and I scared to death to speak in front of a group, as Dr. Ingleson just said. But he helped me with that. He helped me understand that. And all those years ago, if anyone had ever said that in the future I was going to be a teacher in a community college, that I would become a dean, that I would speak in front of groups, speak in front of board of trustees, in chambers of commerce, and whole other, I would have said you're a liar. But because of Mr. Glover, and to this day, even though for a long time we were peers, he's always Mr. Glover to me. He is just a very dear person in my heart. He's now retired. I don't think he teaches anymore, does he?
No.
No.
But he was my mentor as well.
Yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful person. So think about the future of what you're learning and your experience today. You are going to use this for the rest of your life. Whether it's to speak at a PTA, whether it's to interview, because some of the speaking you will be using in interviews, whether it's in your business and proposals you're going to do, it doesn't matter. It's a skill you're going to be using. So I congratulate you for being here, wish you the best, and just remember not only Amy, but other instructors that you have in this class, because you're going to carry that with you forever. Congratulations.
Really excited, right?
Yes.
The number one thing employers look for is communication skills. Wait till you slip in that you were in a tournament. You don't have to say whether you won it or not. Just drop that in somewhere. So how's it going to work today, okay? The most you can deliver your speech is twice. There are only 2 rounds, a first round and a final round. Right now, while we're sitting in here, your names are being posted outside with room numbers. So when you leave here, when we're done, you're going to go outside, look for your name. Look above your name, you'll see a room. Either it'll be in the LS building or the LA building, this building. Find your name, report to that room. There'll be a judge or judges waiting there for you, and then they'll sort of take over, just like your speech teacher would. Write your names on the board and go through the process. Once that round is done, the judges have some tabulating to do. So while you wait, come back here to LA6 to wait for the final results. Once everybody has given their speech and all of the judges have brought me back their materials, I will then post the final round, which should be somewhere around 3:20, 3:30, okay? Then you will find your name again if you've made it to the finals. And you will then report to another room where the judges will then be waiting again. Now, what if your name isn't on the finals list? Oh. You didn't make it to the finals, but somebody from your class probably did. So it is really nice to see a friendly face in the audience. So find a friend, someone in your class who made it to the finals, report to that room and be part of the audience. At the end of round 2, you will again come back here to LA6 where we will have the food waiting for you. You've all been enticed with that free food, I know. It'll be here. Then the judges will be tabulating again. They will be discussing who comes in first, second, or third. Then I will announce the winners here again, where we'll do photos and trophies and dinner, lunch, dinner, dinner, and a daily basis.
How many do you know what kinds of bullying
Okay, today I'm going to be talking about the global warming, and for a few seconds, I want you guys to just watch this video for a few minutes. I guess he said chemistry and biology. He said that the global warming, the hypothesis originated in 1996 when severe hurricanes. Thank you, Miss Patrick. I'll show the video after this special event. Well, good afternoon. My name is Donna Bianca, and I'll be giving you an assignment. I want all of you to raise your hand if you like to dance. Yeah, great. I really love enjoying to dance, and I enjoy dancing. I do it on my part time. I also like to go to dances, and I also like going to live performances. So if you enjoy dancing as much as I do, you might have heard or seen the colorful dance of folklorico. I know in our school here, we also have a group, a club for folklorico. And specifically Mexican folklorico, it is a beautiful dance style and art form that is intriguing, it is rich in culture, and it's very popular in different parts of the world, especially Mexico. Alright, so Mexico has over 31 states, and each state expresses its own individual style of folklorico. Mexican folklorico is very intriguing because each dance illustrates a unique story. One of the many dances of folklorico is the jarabe tapatío, also known as a hat dance. And according to an article on Mexican folk dance, the jarabe tapatío dance tells a romantic story of a man who really wants to grab this woman's attention, but the woman is like, no thank you. But then towards the end of the dance, the woman realizes that this man is worth her time, and she is overtaken by his charm. Another intriguing yet funny dance is called El Baile de los Viejitos, or the Dance of the Old. Originally, this dance was made to ridicule the English ruling class. This dance is represented by men who wear masks, preferably white masks, that represents the old men that ruled back then in Mexico. In this dance, the old men that they're trying to portray, they wear different style of clothing. They also carry canes to to express that old man type of dance. So they carry the kings to imitate the old people. Furthermore, for many decades, Bogotá dancers have performed in costumes to show how it's rich in its cultural roots. The dance has several different types of clothing, especially, for example, the state of Veracruz has influence by the Spaniards. So, first I'll give you some history on the park and its founder, Walt Disney. Then I'll tell you about what's going on with the park now in present times. And then lastly, I'll fill you in on some fun park secrets and facts that you may not know about. So, Disneyland all started with a single man's dream. That man was Walt Disney. He envisioned a place where children and parents could have fun together. In this magical kingdom, he planned to build rivers, waterfalls, and mountains, and he would have flying elephants, a fairy tale castle, and giant teacups. But this dream required space. So, in early 1994, Disney bought an old orange grove, 160-acre orange grove, located in the heart of Anaheim, California. And on July 21st, 1954, construction began. The park was to consist of 5 different areas. The first of the 5 being Main Street USA, which is right directly when you walk into the park. It was fashioned in the nostalgic style of Grandpa's youth, complete with soda powers and horses with buggies. After that, there was Adventureland, and it was designed to be an exotic, topical place in a far-off region of the world. After that, there was Frontierland, which was made to relive the pioneer days of the American frontier. Next, we have Fantasyland, which was created with the goal to make dreams come true. And lastly, there was Tomorrowland, which was created to look at the marvels of the future. On July 17, 1955, the park opened. 6,000 grand opening invitations were sent out. The following day, the park opened to the public for an entrance fee of only $1. Although once you got into the park, Walt Disney charged people 10 cents to 35 cents per ride, depending on how big the ride was, and because of that, he was accused of nickeling and diming people. So, in October 1955, Disney introduced something called the letter tickets. I don't know if any of you may remember those. Yeah, okay, it's before my time. But anyways, they were designed so that depending on the caliber of the ride you wanted to go on, you'd be able to ride it unlimited times, A being like the lower level rides, C being higher level rides. And then 2 years later, the e-ticket was introduced, and that entitled you to like the best rides that the park had. But then, later on, in 1982, the letter tickets faded out, and Disney introduced one price all-inclusive ticket, included your entrance fee and unlimited access to all of the rides, and in 1982, that would cost you only $15. Also, in 1992, according to WDW Ticket Increases published by ROI Enterprises on the website allears.net, annual passes were introduced for only $100 a year, which included no blackout dates. But now, in 2013, if you wanted to go to Disneyland, a one-day kids ticket price will cost you $86, and adult prices are $92 per day. So tickets have risen quite a bit. And if you wanted an annual pass with no blackout dates, that would cost you $699. So quite an increase there. Now for some fun Disney secrets. How many of you know the Mark Twain riverboat? It's right there on Frontierland, the big white boat. Well, I bet you didn't know that you could have the opportunity to try steering it if you wanted to. To do so, before boarding, you would go up to a cast member and ask them if you can visit the wheelhouse. That's what it is. And if you're lucky, they'll determine to say yes or no to you. If they say yes, then you'll be directed to the second floor door, and it's going to be marked private. That's where you knock, and then the captain will answer and teach you how to steer. And then if you get through all that and you get to do that, there's a guest book that you can sign, and that guest book dates back all the way to the 1950s of other individuals who have had that opportunity. So definitely try to check that out next time you go. Another cool thing is if you visit Disneyland on your birthday, as you're entering, you can let one of the cast members know that it's your birthday, and then they make a big to-do about it and parade you down to Disney's little town center, and you get to wear a little button on you. It says your name, and that's your birthday, and while you're walking around the park, you get various other surprises because you have that button, like you get stickers from the cast member, a balloon, fun stuff like that. And lastly, I bet you all didn't know that there is a club located on Disneyland. Like super, super, super exclusive. And it was designed as a speakeasy. And it's the only place in the park where you can get an alcoholic beverage, a cocktail. So that's pretty cool. And it's actually in plain sight, but it's hidden. It's like painted a dull green color. So if you actually looked for it, you'd be able to find it, but you wouldn't be able to get in. It's located in Disney's New Orleans Square. It's so exclusive that there's a 10-year waiting list to get onto it, and once you're off the waiting list, it costs you $10,000 to join, and then an annual fee of $3,500 a year. Yeah, so there's that. In conclusion, if you're willing to fork out the money to go to Disneyland, it would be totally worth it, and you won't regret it because it's not called the happiest place on earth for nothing. Thank you.
Some of us in this room have had loved ones, friends, relatives, brothers, sisters that have been incarcerated before. And if they have, I'm going to go ahead and let you know about some great news that might potentially get them released early. Today, if you listen up, you're going to learn about the California prison overcrowding crisis, how it started, and some of the solutions that will be taking place sooner or later to go ahead and release a lot of inmates that are currently incarcerated. Now let's find out about how the crisis started. Well, back in the 1990s, we had a governor by the name of Pete Wilson here in the state of California. He was very strict. There was a lot of violence going on in the 90s, and the state of California wanted to enforce stricter laws on gang members, drug dealers, rapists, repeated offenders, and so the government of California created 3 strikes law. That's a 3 strikes law where if you committed 3 serious or violent felonies, you can get stricken out. He also created the 10-20 life law, which means if you use the gun in the commission of a crime, you would automatically get 10 years just for the gun itself. If you fired it, you would automatically get 20 years plus whatever the crime carried. And if you killed someone, you would get life in prison without parole. When Pete Wilson became governor of the state of California only had 12 prisons. Since his time as governor to this present day, there is now 33 prisons in the state of California. When Pete Wilson was governor, the state of California only had a 68,000 prison population. Since his time as governor and since all these new strict laws have came into play, there is now 136,000 inmates in the state of California. Now let's find out what the crisis is. California now has 33 prisons built. They are full to the maximum. They have no more vacancies for new inmates. Some prisons were designed to house 1,800 inmates, and some prisons right now as we speak are housing 4,000 inmates. They're like sardines in there, especially some prisons were designed to have single cell prison cells or single bunk prison cells. Right now some prison cells have up to 3 bunks. It means you have 3 human beings in a 5x12 cell. That's pretty small. Right now, in 2007, the state of California built a supermax prison. Some of you probably haven't heard of it. It's called the Kern Valley State Prison, located in Kern County. This is a supermax prison built to house 5,000 inmates. That's a lot of people. Now, there's 136,000 inmates right now currently locked up. It costs about $136 to house, feed, shower, clothe, and give these inmates a cell to sleep on. It costs $136 to do that. So there's 136,000 inmates. The state of California is spending $18.5 million every day just to house these inmates when there's schools that are suffering from budget cuts. when there are many inmates stuffed into one location, there's a lot of prison violence, there's a lot of tension. Now let's find out about some of the solutions that could be taking place to help resolve this problem. According to the Huffington Post, the Supreme Court ordered Governor Jerry Brown to go ahead and release 9,600 inmates by the end of the year. That's a lot of people. The state wants to release inmates that are 50 years or older. They feel, studies have shown that if they release an inmate 50 years or older, the chances of them returning back to prison are very low, versus them releasing a 23-year-old young man. He still has that prison mentality. He's going to come out and he's going to be a repeated offender and end up going back. They're also considering releasing drug offenders. Studies have shown that if you release drug offenders into a drug program, they're going to go ahead and seek drug treatment and hopefully better themselves for the future. They're also considering releasing inmates that are working full-time and that are going to school full-time. Studies have shown that if they release an inmate going to school full-time or working full-time, chances are they're going to parole and continue working full-time or going to school full-time. They're also going to release inmates with soft felonies. So do not panic. They're not going to release murderers, killers, child molesters, rapists. They're going to release inmates with soft felonies like petty theft or possession of heroin or something. They're also going to release inmates that have anywhere up to a year left. So there's no get out of jail free card where inmates get broken off 20 years and they're going to get out. No, if you have a year left or less, you have a chance of getting out. Okay, so you are now aware of the California prison overcrowding crisis. I hope the information I provided you brought you knowledge about the prison overcrowding crisis. There are many solutions that can take place to help solve this problem and stop this human cruelty. Now that you know that your loved one could be getting out sooner or later, I will definitely get a hold of him and let them know the great news. So next time you're driving or watching your favorite baseball team play baseball, you're driving listening to Snoop Dogg, just remember that life is like a baseball game. 3 strikes, you're out. Thank you.
An organizer of men's Rotary clubs called upon Parker Goddard Secretarial School attempting to recruit a Mr. Parker or Mr. Goddard to Rotarian membership. To his amazement, he discovered it was owned by 2 women. Proprietor Adelaide Goddard commented, "When men let women into their service clubs, then I would join." This sparked the birth of an idea, the birth of Seroptimist. I chose this nonprofit organization because it is near and dear to my heart. I've been a member for 25 years. I plan to inform you on some of the projects and programs that Seroptimist does to improve the lives of women and girls. The Women's Opportunity Awards, the Prototypes Library Project, and the annual Stop Human Trafficking and Sexual Slavery campaign. Seroptimist is a volunteer service organization working to improve the lives of women and girls through programs and projects that lead to economic and educational empowerment. One such program that leads to economic and educational empowerment is the Women's Opportunity Awards. This award assists head of household women with resources for education, skills, and employment prospects. According to the Seroptimist website, nearly $30 million has been dispersed to tens of thousands of women for educational grants, according to their website in its inception in 1972. In 1986, a recently divorced single woman, mother of 4, found herself as head of household. She had no career or education, and she was on welfare. She described her life as disruptive, stressful, and fearful of the unknown. Margaret knew education was key to her survival. While attending community college, she applied for various scholarships. One of those awards awarded her was the Women's Opportunity Award from the Oxnard Seroptimist Club. The many scholarships she received enabled her to earn her master's and her bachelor's degree in psychology and English. Margaret told me in a personal interview on October 6th Without the encouragement and financial support like Seroptimus, I would not have felt capable of making the huge leap from homemaker to professional by myself. 23 years later, Professor Margaret Della M. teaches rhetoric and composition English here at Oxnard College, right down the hall in LA 18. While some women are achieving their educational goals, other women are overcoming drug and alcohol addictions. The Oxnard Seroptimus selected Prototypes Women's Recovery Home to create a service project for their women residents and their children. The members spent 3 months planning, cleaning, painting, decorating, gathering and cataloging used books, buying bookshelves and children's furniture. They dedicated the women's library with a ribbon-cutting ceremony in 2007. In an interview with Program Director Val Linden on October 9th, I asked her how Seroptimus makes a difference for Prototypes. She said, "The clients see women who care about them is very important because they don't experience a lot of worth. They feel worthless." She also said they were incredibly grateful to Seroptimus for the continued financial support. For the past 6 years, Seroptimus women celebrate their recovery, giving back to the community and Seroptimus by participating in the annual Seroptimus Stop Human Trafficking and Sexual Slavery campaign. This annual event is a public awareness event designed to inform the community that modern-day slavery takes place in all corners of the globe, including our own backyards. Each year, Seroptimus Clubs from Oxnard, Ventura, Camarillo, and the Conejos co-sponsor this event. Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the Port Hueneme and Oxnard Police Department, Coalition to Abolish Slavery and Trafficking, the Mary Magdalene Project, and Children of the Night have been among the presenters providing valuable information to the attendees. According to ICE, human trafficking is defined as the illegal trade in human beings through recruitment, abduction, by means of force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of forced labor, debt bondage, or sexual exploitation. Is a $32 billion global business. The most important piece of advice, repeatedly stated by law enforcement and outreach agencies, is if you see something, say something. Call 911 or 1-888-373-3888. Through programs and projects like the Women's Opportunity Award, the Prototypes Library, and the Stop Trafficking Campaign, Oxnard Seroptimus have worked for 68 years improving the lives of women and girls. Thank you, Mr. Morrow, for your idea and vision for women. I am proud to be among the 80,000 women in 120 countries worldwide in this international service organization. Who knows? Maybe one day, one of you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and of course the men, you're invited to join me in Seroptimus service. Thank you. I don't discriminate, men are invited too.
My name is Addie Hoffman, and my teacher is Amy Edwards. So technology is taking over the world each and every day, and the most important of those technologies is our cell phone. And what we do most on our cell phone is texting. So today I'll inform you how texting while driving is an impulse, how it's dangerous, and how you can actually prevent texting while driving. So according to a LA Times article by Monte Morin, which is the title is titled, "How Men Downplay the Risk of Texting." So there is a study by Gerald and Shauna how texting while driving is usually more of an impulse for women. But that's actually not true. It's actually for men. Because they don't think that it's really dangerous to text while driving. Because they think, oh, I can multitask. I'm an awesome driver. While women, we do love to talk and text. I do. And so we actually know the dangers of texting while driving because it is very dangerous. And on average, we text about 86 texts per day. So who knows how many texts are actually done while driving. So then, knowing how it's an impulse, we want to know why and how it's dangerous. So there's an article with Officer Brian Pennings that stated that there's actually a word for texting while driving. It's intoxication. So this is actually, it's kind of like intoxicated, but with text. So basically this means that if you're texting and you cannot perform a task 100%, then you're intoxicated. So this means that say you're at work and you're texting and then, oh, you forgot to turn in something and there's a deadline, then that's on your fault. And then, or if you're driving, if you run a red light, that's on your fault. You could hurt yourself and other people, and it's very dangerous. And also, a fun fact, well, actually not fun, but it's actually pretty serious, that for texting while driving, you are twice as likely to get in a crash instead of drinking and driving, which is astonishing because I always thought texting while driving, yes, it is bad, but you have control over it. While you're drinking, yes, you're going to have more of a chance to get in a crash. And then also, there are ways to not text while driving. So the wireless company called AT&T has a campaign called It Can Wait. So this is a pledge on to not text while driving. So it's really cool because I've taken the pledge and I think it's awesome because when I was younger, when I first got my license and thought it was all cool, I thought texting while driving, oh, everyone does that. But then when I was going down the street, I started to swerve a little bit and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash, even though I wasn't. I threw my phone in the back seat, I'm like, I'm never doing that again. So I think it's really cool that people around the world are starting to take the pledge and how we're getting celebrities into the commercials so that like inspires us more because there are role models, so I think that's really cool. And then from this website called Teen Health, there are actually 5 ways to get someone to stop texting while driving. So the first way is being direct with them. Say, please don't text while driving. So that's one way. But if you're kind of a little scared, you can always go with the indirect way. Be like, oh, let me text for you while you drive so you can pay attention on the road or something like that. And then there's also group way, so you can get all your friends together that aren't okay with it and really get the point across that, wow, all my friends aren't cool with this. And then another way to get them to stop texting while driving is to point out other bad people on the road. They're like, look at them, they're driving poorly because they're distracted while they're texting. So, and then the life-saving way is to flat out say, I'm not going to text, or they're not going to text. So I'd rather not put myself in the situation of having them text while driving. So that saves your life. You won't ever be in that situation because you took the decision to not drive with them. So I think that's pretty cool how we know nowadays that we can make the decision and save ourselves from being in that situation. So today, you are informed how texting while driving can be an impulse, how it's dangerous, and how you actually can prevent it. And I hope today that you really make the right choice of to not get in a car of people who text and drive, and make sure that you guys don't text while you're driving. So, thank you.
I made it. I made it.
I know, I'm trying to think of it. Hi!
I think Crystal's the only one.
Kind of fun, right? All right, let's start with oral interp because they've been waiting the longest. How about that? Does that sound good? In third place, Dustin McCarthy. I'm going to ask all the winners stay up here because we're going to take a photo because you might end up on a flyer next year. And there's a gift card and I need you to sign off on that. Congratulations. Realtor. And this. You can hang around. I feel like we should shake. In second place, Kingsley Garrett. Congratulations, guys. And I have certificates for everyone who participated, so don't run away right at the end. It'll look really nice framed on your wall. And in first place, Sarah Soranaquia Duplicon. Allrod. Duplicon, that was right? Yep. Okay. Miss Duplicon, congratulations. All right, what's next?
First place.
Okay, where am I listening? How about informative? Informative. In third place, Debbie Golick. Good job, Debbie. Sure. In second place, Jennifer Cifuentes. Jennifer. Did she leave? Yeah. Jennifer. Well, in spirit, we say, good job, Jennifer. And in first place, Jessica Ruiz. Guys, these people can come in. They have a class at 5, so come on in. We're just going to celebrate your class with cookies and punch. Congratulations. Good job. Yes, we need to shake. Feels very formal. And persuasive. Woo! In third place, Talia Fernandez. In second place, Michael Cabanas. Guy, will you come down and take some pictures? And first place goes to Laura Stokes. All right, so gather up. Let's have a nice big round of applause for all of our winners. Maybe people a little smaller. I want to get into it. I'll go back here. I know you're pretty tall. Let's take a few.
Yeah.
Glasses. Make sure you get my good side.
Every side is your good side, honey.
Aww. Can I get that in writing?
All right, and one
exactly.
more. Everybody say speed.
Right, I don't know which camera to look at.
Oh, don't tell me you're suddenly speechless.
Okay, now we need something funny, like whoop whoop, something.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
Oh, it's a little
Got
blurry.
it?
It's a little blurry.
Oh. One more time.
Right.
Good job, guys.
Whoop whoop.
The energy is leaving.
Okay.